All right, they asked T-Pain what he thought about Black History Month.
Okay.
And this is what he had to say. Or actually, the question is more specific. He said, how should white people celebrate Black History Month?
Any insight, all right, for how white people can properly celebrate Black History Month the right way?
Stop celebrating it. I don't think we should celebrate Black History Month. I think we should just have a history. I don't think it should. They overshot it. We don't want our own shit. You're separating us again. We want to be part of history, not just 1 month of it. Like we want.
So yeah, that's what he said. I don't think we should celebrate Black History Month. It should just be history.
Damn, I didn't know Bane had an opinion on that.
Gucci Bane.
Yeah.
What do you think, Al?
He sounds like me with that steak line just before. Like he thought it was hot, he thought it was good, and then it's like fuck.
Yeah, I think my experience and preacher's experience a bit like, especially mine. I grew up a large part of my life in Ethiopia, so even like identifying as black was a bit of a weird thing because I just identified as like Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Right? My blackness was never really something I considered because I was
Everybody's
just the norm.
black. Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't until I immigrated to North America that I understood what like the color of my skin meant within a greater context of a society.
Yeah.
So I think then I became more sensitive to like, okay, that's why black folks have this initiative or they have this going on. Like I understand the need for something like this.
Yeah.
So I don't get too mad at it. I think for me, it's like, I've heard this rhetoric. It's nothing new. We hear this like every year pretty much. My personal take on it is like, if black folks aren't bothered at, if I can't see any net negative, then I'm cool with it. I don't got an issue. I don't know why it's like I don't know why people get so up in arms and being bothered by like, you could teach it every year. It's like, yeah, you can teach it every year. And you could also highlight it this year and this specific month. Doesn't mean you have to stop learning about it later on. So that's my thoughts on it.
I mean, if it can just prevent people to be in my position where I'm in the all white elementary school, and then they talk about slavery, and everybody turns around. I'm the only black kid in the fucking room. It's like, ugh. It's like they're not talking about history; they talking about me.
Ah,
is that what happened, bitch? I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah,
it's like so. If they can have a month, whenever they talk about black history or black people, they always talk about slavery. Can we talk about other people and everything else, like the before? Like, if it can prevent that from happening,
not just the tragic moments.
Not just the tragic. It's just like same thing with movies. Oh, that's a good movie. What's that movie about? You know, slaves. Ugh.
Yeah, well, you can't exactly criticize.
I don't want
to.
Yeah, so if we could highlight the good, that's cool because we don't get highlighted. That's pretty much it.
As a comic, you know what it is corny though. Every time Black History Month, I could be putting on all kinds of lineups.
It's Christmas.
Yo, if you want to make some extra money, it's kind of cool. But like, I be getting booked on all kinds of crazy shows. I'm like, it's this month again.
And the same venue,
my paycheck all of a sudden look a little bit different.
And the same venues a couple months before, like, oh, we already have a black comic book.
Yeah, you know what's weird about that, especially with comedy, is like, February you get all the shine you want. But I remember, like, I don't know, like comedy is weird because I ask comedy clubs like, why is the lineup like this? And I've heard so many club owners say like, I don't want to have more than one black comic on the lineup.
They've just said that.
Yeah.
It's just in Canada.
No,
remember what we were talking about?
How about I tell you, whatever we had here, they have had here as well. Maybe just a couple of years back. But I've heard that. I've heard that enough times. And even speaking to older comics, they'd hear stuff like that.
But I never heard that in French comedy though,
because they don't want to turn it into an ethnic night.
In English comedy, I heard that. But in French comedy, I don't hear that.
Interesting.
What I heard though is like, oh yeah, maybe some people don't get accepted in comedy school, which is a concept that they have in Quebec.
Yeah.
And your thing is too ethnic, but that happened to one of my buddies. But other than that,
Wow, that's interesting. They're just so like blatantly honest about it.
I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing here in the States for some lineups.
I think that they would do it, but they just wouldn't say it like that.
Yeah.
There's almost a comfort in saying it like that because now you know it's not your comedy that's fucked up, it's their racism.
Yeah.
Whereas before that, they'll just be like, sorry, you're not funny enough. And now you got to walk around going, but I'm funnier than these motherfuckers. Why are they saying I'm not funny enough?
We already have it.
I think
it's same outcome, but at least you know it's not something you can control.
I noticed when rich people get comfortable.
Yeah,
they start talking crazy.
Like really?
Yeah, because
like
of
nothing
course,
can
like,
affect
if
them.
If they really feel like nothing can affect them, they'll just say what they thinking. They might have some crazy thoughts. Like how many of those NFL owners, amongst other NFL owners, say the wildest things about athletes? Right? Like you remember that prison comment that one NFL owner said? He said we have the inmates running the asylum or whatever.
Yeah,
and that sounds crazy. Imagine what they saying when you're not around with the newspapers, when they're just talking to staff. That's why when these NFL coaches come out and they say, "Oh, this owner said this," or "This owner said that," or they told me like, "Yeah, I don't want too many black players. I want to bounce." I believe it.
Yeah, I don't think a coach has ever said, I don't want too many black players.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that's ever happened in the history of integrated sports.
I bet you though,
Yeah.
before the integration of black players became super common, there's definitely coaches or owners who would have liked to see a lot of white NFL players.
Oh, of course. I mean, dude,
Before, like, it was the winning ticket to get black folks. 100%.
Utah Jazz has still got white people, and it's like, I think that there's by design here, right? It's like the only team that's got multiple white people, right?
Yeah.
So like something's going on.
We
It's
kind of
always had that.
In hockey, kind of have the same.
The
thing
least
with
jazzy
language.
team.
The least jazzy team.
And for the Canadians, we kind of have that same thing where they absolutely want the coach to speak French. Yep. Which has nothing to do with the fucking game. But they absolutely want the fucking coach to be, but he's French. He's not a Quebecer. He's not. They're really adamant about that. That language shit is weird.
So they'd rather have a shittier coach.
Yeah, but he speaks French.
But he speaks
Same with the
French.
players too, right? Like
Same
they
with
want
the-
all
same-
the players we have.
same,
like,
same.
Yeah.
See, I don't respect that.
Yeah,
Because you're just not competitive enough. Like let's win. You should want to win.
Identity is more important than winning. Because for them, maintaining their identity is a win. I'm serious. Deadass.
Yeah.
How about this? How many times you heard someone say, I don't care how much money my kid's partner makes. I just want them to be the same culture. For them, the identity is more important than the quality of the partner.